so we back up in here. Spit fire from the back of your ears, coming straight from the belly of the beast that's in the back of your ear. Whispering shit that's got you clapping your ear. There's panic and fear.
So before we bring it up, actually, you just want to bring up a thing that we recently did on Twitter, on our Twitter page.
Yes, because, well, it was in coordination with the fact that we just hit 1,000 likes on Facebook. By the way, thank you to everyone that liked the page on Facebook. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
On Twitter, we're going to run a competition. And all you have to do is go to our Twitter, at the Kickout Live. Follow us. That's all you need to do. Follow us. And once we hit 400 followers,
right.
Last time I checked, I think we're on 335 or something like that. So we still have a bit to go. I might take it down maybe to 450 to do it soon. Or 350, sorry. What do you think? 350? Will we take it down?
That could work, yeah.
Making the decision right here on the show tonight. Exclusive on the show. Another one. 350 followers. Once we hit 350 followers, we will be giving out a t-shirt. Or maybe if you... Well, baseball t-shirt or normal t-shirt. Winner's choice to a random follower. Any size, obviously, they like. Any colour they like.
Right.
An exclusive kick-out t-shirt. And Dave, they look good.
Yeah,
they do look good, don't they? I kind of want one for myself.
There you go.
I think I might have to. The hoodies are really good too.
Hoodies?
Oh yeah. I've messed around with a few things, and I saw some hoodies as well that looked really good. And there's some mugs as well. I might get some mugs. Do you want a mug?
Why not?
Get a mug. We'll get a mug.
Anyway, let's move on anyway.
So that's it, 350.
Right,
Follow.
right.
At the Kickout Live.
Right. So WWE United Kingdom title tournament, which was on during the week. Now this was at a weird time because it's on the same time as Raw and SmackDown coming out. So it was like we talked at the start of the show being full. That's obviously it was different full, but this is like there's a lot of intake of wrestling this week.
Can I ask you a question? Because I only got to see the second day.
Right.
Okay. And I think the reason why I didn't watch the first day stemmed into a reason why I wasn't as into the second day.
Yeah.
Does already knowing the result ruin it for you?
There was a few results I didn't know in advance. Obviously, the tag team match
which WWE spoiled themselves.
Exactly.
And I think...
And we talked about why. Because
Yeah.
I think they wanted it purposely spoiled for the sake of them getting the views and likes, if you like. I didn't know Dunn retains. But I did know that Zach Gibson won.
The tournament itself,
because someone said it on Instagram with the pose of the two of them in the end.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn. Like, but at the same time, I was like, well. But at the same time, I thought, well, that's a brilliant match.
Yeah, for me, like on Twitter, you couldn't get away from it.
Yeah,
it was everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
And you can try to like avoid it, like, but you need Twitter for other bits and pieces.
Exactly.
As well. Like obviously, like I was trying. It's easy to avoid. We have our own separate Twitters, but even then, there's still wrestling.
I'm using the show Twitter more than I'm using my own Twitter.
I've noticed that actually. Yeah. You always message people with our page. I'm like, you really have your own there.
Sorry. What do you mean message people?
I just don't mind, obviously, but like...
Are you talking about that thing I got into with Dean the other day?
I think so. Which is good, by the way.
That was funny.
That was fine. But anyway, we'll get on to it anyway. It was obviously announced at the start that... obviously Johnny Saints came out talking about that video cool. He's talking about the evolution of British wrestling, which is pretty cool. Actually, it's cool to have him, like his quiet demeanor, the way he presents himself is almost like a very cool.
I like
way
it.
To be a gym.
I think he's going to do a very good job as GM.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just get on quickly to all the matches in night one. Certainly all the qualifying matches. So Zach Gibson took on Jack Gallagher. So Gibson went through. Good back and forth match. Nice mix of submission work and hard hitting action. There's a really good, I think, where at one stage Gibson was trying to hit a Liger bomb, but Gallagher cut him off with a triangle, and he buckle bombed him, and he still had a triangle on him.
Yeah.
So it was really good spots. But in the end, what they did with Gibson was very clever. They tried throughout the whole 2 days. They made that Shankly Gate submission really over.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, Joe Coffey beating Dave Mastiff in the quarterfinal. Good back and forth. It was very different from the first pace of the match. This is these two big men. And it was Coffey who won after the double jump high cross and the rolling lariats. Flash Morgan Webster against Jordan Devlin. Really good match actually. It was like a good sprint match, if you like.
Yeah.
Again, very different from the previous two. A really good spot is where Webster had 2 suicide dives and the tope as well. So he can really go. Now, here's the thing now. A lot of people, certainly from an Irish perspective, were looking at Jordan as a clear winner going into this. Were you disappointed when he lost to Flash Morgan Webster?
Yeah.
See, the thing
But
is,
in hindsight, I should have known as soon as they were going to face each other. I should have known that he was going to lose because Fast Morgan Webster had been on the front of everything.
exactly.
He had been the poster boy for the UK tournament.
More to the point, Jordan Devlin, as fantastic as he is, he's by far and away the best wrestler in this country. He's only starting more or less to break out into the British scene. Although he's in ICW in Progress and all those guys.
He really had a fantastic match with Will Ospreay at the weekend too.
I heard about
I'm
that.
a little jealous that Progress got that match before OTT did.
Ours has bills to it.
Air
though.
has, I know it does.
So
I know
I'm
it
not,
does.
I'm not so worried about that. But it also makes sense in the fact.
Still would like to have seen it in person first. The first match in person.
Yeah, but it also makes sense in the fact that Jordan Devlin was a heel in this. Here's and the match that whoever we took on this match was supposed to take on Zach Gibson, who is the biggest heel in the whole show, the whole two shows, bar none.
Yeah.
So it made more sense probably from a WWE aspect, or certainly a more intriguing aspect that Webster take on Gibson, as opposed to Jordan taking on Zach. And Zach is a perfect winner and a perfect match for Dunn, and as we seen in the last match.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it makes sense to me. One could argue that maybe anyone who picks Jordan was a bit too patriotic. Would I be wrong in saying that?
Is he?
But you know what I mean by that? We want Jordan to win because he's one of us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, obviously you're gonna have that. We're always gonna have that. Like.
Yeah. But you think that was overshadowed by the fact that he could actually win? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I mean this in the most respectful way possible.
I don't know. I thought maybe because he was the only one that was in last year's that was in this one that made it to that point.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. You're right.
Yeah. That I thought they might have him go further.
I see what you mean. Okay, at that point, I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
There you go. But anyway, the other match, the quarterfinal was in Travis Banks against Ashton Smith. It was a good match. It was Banks who won that match after his Fisherman's Buster. It definitely seems like Banks was way superior to Smith though in that match, I have to say though. So, Tony Storm versus Killer Kelly against Isla Dawn. The winner will take on Shayna Baszler the next night, with Storm winning that one. It was a good, like, what I liked about these small, like, a lot of the matches were like 5 minutes, like, for example. What I really liked about is how they made the most of the time. Yeah. This match is a very good example of that, where they all made the most of it with the time they were given. And obviously it was the best call for Storm to win, because she's like one of the best people from the indies coming into WWE, certainly from the UK standpoints. Yeah, Triple H going on then about announcing the NXT brands and how they'll have shows or tapings in July, August, September and October. How do you feel that will come across? Like, do you think that will actually be a genuine separate, like a NXT in the UK, separate from it? Or do you think at some stage it will easily combine and merge and that will be it?
I'm sure at times it will combine and merge, but I think it might be separate for the first period.
Do you feel it'll have a pulse though for a long time though?
I feel it could have a negative impact on the indie wrestling in Ireland and England.
Well, if we've learned anything from what we were talking about with PWG, obviously it's not the same, because America have a much bigger roster to play with as opposed to Ireland and Britain. I imagine still, especially with Irish and British wrestling, its progress will still be able to fill the people for the indies. So I think overall,
I feel that
that's me being optimistic about it.
I feel myself personally that because if they're going to be having an NXT UK show, they will only let their UK talent go with promotions that are playing nice with WWE.
Gotcha.
So any other promotions that are looking for any sort of UK talent. So let me just say, for example, the likes of, say, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is not because WWE don't know Phoenix yet. They would not be too willing to let their guys go to those shows. So we might not be able to see the likes of Jordan down there and stuff like that, you know?
Maybe.
Other promotions that they don't like, they will not, like Progress. Who are the three? It's Progress, OTT and ICW are the ones they have that they had at last year's one, wasn't it? It was Joe. So. It was Joe, Mark Dallas, and Jim Smallman, wasn't it?
And they were the Rev Pros guys as well.
Were Rev Pros guys there, really? So 4. But I heard rumblings that they had an issue with Rev Pro.
I don't know.
So-
It's because they have New Japan guys over it, man.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think it's that. I think they just had an
Amongst-
argument with Rev Pro
Maybe.
or something.
OTT isn't affiliated with them anymore either, so
Are they not?
no, they're not.
Okay, well they're
They've
not.
they've been undefeated for a while since last October, just last November.
Really?
Definitely at the end of last year.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that the promotions that WWE don't like, they won't let their guys on it. So I think that could have a detrimental effect to indie shows around Great Britain and Ireland.
I'm not sure I agree with that. I think it really doesn't, like, because indie promotions are indie promotions as opposed to ones that are linked to WWE where they're only allowed to do certain things. Then that's a different story. It's more the ICWs and the progresses that will suffer more than the other promotions. So that's why OTT and all that will be fine. We'll be okay because we can bring all these other guys in from other places. So I think we'll be grand.
Yeah.
I'd be more concerned for. I'll be the other way around. I'd be more concerned for how long Progress or ICW would last if they keep taking all these guys because they're affiliated with them and they're going to take their talents.
True.
It's them who are going to be suffering more than the Rev Pros. Well, they already have their own loyal roster there and there.
Yeah.
With no one sneaking up to them and taking, hey, I want you now. You can't. He can't wrestle for you because they're not under contracts.
Yeah,
They're not affiliated
true.
with them. Makes more sense, right?
Okay.
With the semi-finals then, Zach Gibson was against Flash Morgan Webster. That was actually a very good match. It was like probably one of the best 5-minute matches you'll see.
Yeah.
And it was everything you needed from the shock and awe attack of Webster, who literally came in like a bat out of hell. And then Gibson overcoming him to finish him. He actually hit his Helter Skelter, which is like the spinning suplex, on the ramp. Webster came in and quickly got on the Shankly Gates, and that was that. But it was a really good match. Really, really good match. Then Travis Banks took on Joe Coffey in the other semi-final. Really good spots in this was when I think it was Travis Banks who fought back in their feet and goes for the John Woo and then hits a double stomp instead. So it was a really good match. Great sense of urgency because it didn't look like one was a clear winner. Like that's why Gibson was I think the best possible guy to win it because he has that presence and that evilness and that he's so good at being a heel that he's perfect for it to win.
Yeah.
As with this match, it was very back and forth. It was literally 50-50 until it was a Cradle that won it for Banks.
Yeah.
And it was good. And the post-match worked well as well, where Coffey attacks Banks, went for the injured arm because they're both working on each other's arms.
Yeah.
And it played well into the end of the match, which we'll get into shortly. British Strong Style took on the Undisputed Era. This was a fantastic match. If you're not seeing this match, this was one of the best matches.
Only
of the
saw the
weekend.
second day.
This is quality. This is quality as a 6-man tag to get. The crowd were full all for it. Great action throughout. No further wasted movement at the end. And it was bait in and a Dragon Suplex Lariat combo finished O'Reilly for that match. So it was a really good match in that. And then it was afterwards, of course, that Bait and Dunn will get the tag title shot against O'Reilly and Strong. He had Shawn Michaels coming out, a bit scared, following up the trios match. And the crowd, naturally, it's a British crowd, they all sing the theme songs. They sang HBK's theme song, saying it's still a snapper tune. After how many years? 30 years now?
Yeah.
Something like that? Close to it,
20.
anyway. 20-something years, anyway. Then the final itself, Travis Banks against Zach Gibson. Again, a lot of good spots in this match. Like there's a case where Gibson was out and Gibson slammed the injured arm first into the barricade and then the steps. He really tries to bring that injury into play, which made Gibson again look like the proper heel, but it made Banks look the sympathetic face, the proper baby face, if you like. He hit the same. There's so many great falls. There was the Slice of Heaven disaster kick from Banks, which is he gets up on the ropes and does like the Insecurity for a very good near fall. He kicked out the Kiwi Buster, but in the end, then he did this very similar thing where he hit the Helter Skelter and then had to trap Travis Banks in the center of the ring with the Shankly Gates to win the match by submission, and that was that. And it was a fantastic match to end the tournament. It leads more into it leads a lot into the second night because first of all, it's good in the way that they had Gibson's submission very over, and he is hated as hell as a result of that. And it worked very well. Overall, it felt like almost like a takeover special.
Yeah.
In fact, both shows did. Maybe a bit long. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's 2 hours. It's very long."
It was like 2.5 hours each night, wasn't it?
It's a lot of wrestling to take in.
Yeah.
But it was a very well laid out tournament, and it had 2 good crowds. On the second night now, this is the stuff you saw. The tag title match. Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly against Bate and Trent Seven. Really good spots in this match again. So
we don't deserve Kyle O'Reilly.
he is.
We just don't deserve him. He's so good. His selling and everything is just perfect.
Is there who's better at playing a guitar with his belt, Hulk Hogan or him?
Him by far.
Oh, yeah.
Always. Silly question, Dave.
It's a reasonable question because he's the only wrestler I know who does it.
Silly question, Dave.
I think I seen Leaf Ward do it once actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think when he won the NLW title at the time, I saw a clip of him playing the belt as a guitar. But no, he's nothing like Cal O'Reilly.
Would you be more, if you won a title, would you be more like a playing the belt like a guitar guy? Would you be more like a throwing the belt over your back sort of guy? Would you be a more Ultimate Warrior throwing it around? Would you be like a Naito just throwing it anywhere? Or would you be more traditionalist and just keep it on your shoulder?
What happened to around the waist?
Round the waist too, yeah.
That's the traditional one.
Yeah.
By the shoulder. But what I do is very similar to what Johnny Mundo used to do when he was in WWE. He would have a belt on his trousers and he would attach the title clipped on around the belt, so it looked like a t-shirt in front, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's not like the way Pete Dunne has it, where it's a vertical.
Yeah.
But it's strapped on the belt.
Okay.
I have
Then.
to have a belt on my tights, obviously. That's another story.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I think I'd just go traditional. Keep it on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, just walk like that.
It depends on the character
You
as
know,
well.
I don't need to do that, and everybody knows I have the title. I don't need to wave it around or anything like that. I just need to hold it right there.
But there's a case like some really good altercations in this match, as I mentioned. Like O'Reilly, was selling is one thing, but his offense and the way he presents himself in the ring is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Where he tries to get his guillotine choke, and then I think, and then what happens is then Bates grabs I think Bates grabs Roderick Strong and hits a German and uses it to escape the choke.
Yeah.
That was a good spot. In the end, though, it was Bay who hit a tope and Seven hit the 7-star lariat. The knee strike hammer, burning hammer combo then finished the match and became new champions. That was a big moment. That was a very good match, great near falls, and it was a great moment that it created with British Strongstyle now becoming the champions. And I want to see more of that.
It was great. I just thought, I wasn't as hyped up for that title change as I should have been.
But at the same time, it was nice to see the match.
Oh, it was a great match.
And I want to see more of that now.
Yeah.
I would love to see that at the next takeover now, the rematch. You know, don't you? I can see the. No, don't even tell me. I can tell by your face. You've seen the spoilers, I haven't.
Yeah.
How dare you? Charlie Morgan against Killer Kelly. Just a good back and forth match. But the problem with this match is that it follows the tag title match.
It did, yeah.
And that's the curd are a bit dead from that. Like it wasn't a bad match. I felt it was a bit sloppy at one stage, if I'm brutally honest.
It was a little bit.
Yeah.
I think both. This seems to me as if it was thrown together at the last minute. Maybe they didn't think they were actually going to wrestle.
Maybe.
So I think it was meant to be a triple threat originally, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think Ginny was meant to be involved.
Oh, was she?
I think so. It was meant to be a triple threat between them.
I did not know that.
I think.
She was mentioned of her being to be part of the
Or
tournament.
was
We
she?
did talk about
I
that.
think actually no. She was meant to be in the other triple threat with,
For the
number one contendership.
Oh, okay. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Oh well. Well, in the end, it was Morgan who counted out of a cradle, counted into a suplex and the roll up for the win. It was originally supposed to be a triple threat match to decide the next contender for the UK title between Flash Morgan Webster, Travis Banks, and Mark Andrews. But Johnny Saint announced the returning Noam Dar to be a mystery fourth opponent.
Brilliant.
Great shape he's in as well.
Oh,
He's out for 6 months.
he's in fantastic shape, isn't he?
Absolutely. So it was a very good match. There's a nice surprise return, and it's a good win, and it's an interesting match. And it was at a strong pacing where everyone could shine because everyone played their part in this match. We talked about how all had their moments from the day before, but in this case, I think even Darren himself, they all had their moments. They had cases where Andrews and Webster battled. They head on top. Webster hit the Rana, landed on his feet, and hit a snap Rana reverse Rana. That was Andrews' moments. Then you have, I think, Banks came in and locked in the crossface on Andrews, fights off Dar, and then Webster's in and stops Andrews from tapping. Remember that's when he holds the hand up and then he strikes onto Banks, and he's like, no, he can do better than that. Whack!
Yeah.
In the end, though, it was Dar who capitalized on a missed shooting star press, cuts off Banks, attacks the arm, and a running kick for the win. And then at the end of that match, then they had Joe and Mark Coffey attack both Travis Banks and Mark Andrews. So leads to more friction between certainly the Coffees and Travis Banks. With Dar running away, he didn't want anything to do with it.
Best decision he could have made.
Yeah. Adam Cole took on Wolfgang for the NXT North American title. This had a bit of backlash, a bit of history in the sense that Adam Cole had a play something to do with Wolfgang being out for a while, I think it was. So that had a bit of a background to it. But Wolfgang, who's from Scotland, was not over at all compared to Adam Cole.
Is anyone going to be, though, to be honest?
That's the thing. It was a good match, like, nice work. But, like, it wasn't... Although I have to say, Wolfgang, I couldn't believe he was going to win. I wouldn't have believed it if he did.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Adam Cole was.
I think like that. We got our surprise at the start of the night.
That's it.
You know.
In the end, it was Wolfgang who hit a desperation lariat, head up top, and the swanton at knees before Adam Cole finished him off with his last shot and running knee strike. Yeah. Aleister Black and Ricochet took on EC3 and Velveteen Dream. This was a nice treat, if you like. What's interesting about this match is that I think first of all I have to put over the commentary because they actually do have they do put their little bits and pieces in there. Nigel McGuinness in particular I think is very good at this. He puts over the fact that a pin submission of Black would lead to a title shot for either Dream or EC3.
Yeah,
things like that. That's what sells it for me.
Yeah. Again,
this is one of these matches where everyone played their parts. Pretty much, like, you know, like where everyone was doing their thing in the quality way. You had Ricochet doing all his high flying, you had EC3 doing his thing. Of course, we all love Velveteen Dream, as we talked about in our top 5. And obviously Aleister Black doing his thing with the strike, so it was a quality match all around. But in the end, it was when EC3 tried to get back, I think, what was he doing? He countered with a reverse DVT driver, but then he tried to reach for the tag, and here's Dream, who was hurt from, I can't remember how he was hurt.
He was trying to do a elbow drop from the top rope onto Dream.
Oh yes,
but I still don't know if this was a work or if it was a shoe. But EC3 put his hand on the top rope, and then Dream jumped off to say, and then I think they played out the fact that because EC3 was trying to climb back up and held the top rope, it made Dream lose balance.
Yeah.
And then Dream was selling the knee afterwards. So, and then that,
I bet that was worked. Yeah. Speaking of a good work, remember when he went up to the top rope and he's like, "Okay, I'm coming for it. EC3, you could take him." Whilst he was on the top rope.
Yeah.
But no, he bailed on the tag, acting like he was hurt, and then EC3 was finished off by the blood.
I just love the build up they had. Waiting, because Alexander Black was behind EC3. He was like, come on, and EC3 was just, he knew,
I'll tell you what,
I'm going, and then he was just like, right, just go for it. Done.
Going back to the top 5 video we made during the week, do you think now that EC3 could be the possible next opponent for Velveteen Dream on this?
Could be. He was number 3 on the list.
He was 4 actually.
4, sorry, yeah, number 3 was someone else.
Number 3 was, if I remember right,
I know who. I'm not saying who. No, watch the video and find out.
I won't reveal it in that case. Yeah. I can't remember who it is. Anyway, but yeah, that could be one right there. Because Velveteen Dream is so over right now. He could easily just be a face. Oh, he can be anything really. Yeah, he's that type of character.
Velveteen Dream can be whatever he wants.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But no, it was an awesome match. Anyway, the NXT Women's Title match: Toni Storm versus Shayna Baszler. Tony hinted that she beat Baszler before in Japan, so that added a bit of intrigue, like I think for me, for this match. But again, really good spots. Shayna Baszler's gotten so good.
Yeah.
That super gut wrench suplex, for example. And one thing I have to praise Toni Storm for: her selling.
Yeah.
Very good. She sold all the leg locks. She sold all the big suplexes.
They're doing the same thing with her that they were doing with Big Cass before. Obviously the unfortunate happened. That, you know, they're figuring out. They've taken time, but they finally figured it out that they know how to make people into proper heels.
That's it.
You know. So.
And this is what they're doing with Baszler. She's pure badass. I know, but again, I have to praise Toni Storm for this, because she was tremendous babyface performance in her selling, believing that she was badly injured from her knee, and it was clearly protected and lost in the way that the match went down, where it was like where Shayna Baszler had several chokes on her before eventually putting a choke on her on the floor, and then leaving it there and then getting counted out. So it protects her in loss.
Yeah.
And Baszler, in the meantime, is fantastic. Very good control. And he showed frustration for the first time in a sense where I can't finish her off. All right, have it this way. And you praise Tony's resilience, but... So, it's an awesome match. I'd love to see a rematch in the, down the line.
For sure.
Could easily happen. Now, the main event. Zach Gibson challenging Pete Dunne for the UK title. Quality match. It's a great main event that was a success thanks to the build of night 1, I thought. Because, again, Zach Gibson owns the tournaments. Hands down for me. Easily the best guy there for me, or the best the best possible opponent for Pete Dunne, in my view, out of that tournament. And Dunne was always going to be the babyface. But they locked it from yesterday's trios match as well. On the other hand, though, you have Gibson, who was put over well with the hated heel, especially with that submission, as we talked about, with the Shankly Gates.
Yeah.
And it was essential for him to create that dynamic onto this match, and that's why there's a lot of arm work on this, I think, especially from both. And they're both trying to go after the arm at one stage. But they both played their roles so well. I have to give all the credit in the world to Gibson, though. So, because he's going to be the star of that. He's going to be one of the big stars now of that UK division for sure. 100%. He'll be the guy all the time. He'll probably be the next UK champion down the line.
Think so?
Who else? Out of that tournament, who else?
Good point. Out of that tournament?
Yeah. Let's away from maybe Mark Andrews. Well, Mark Andrews and Travis Banks are probably going to have this rivalry with the Coffees now. Okay? Pete Dunne and Trent Seven are in the tag division.
There was another person involved in that too, because it was a fatal four-way. Who was the third person?
Although Dar is next for the title, but I can't see him. We can beat Dunne.
No.
I'd be surprised.
I'd be a very big surprise.
Yeah, especially, but he's in great condition. Who knows? But realistically, Zach Gibson would be a fantastic UK champion.
Would be.
And imagine if we take Sarah rounds. Imagine we brought that to OTT. I'd pop for that.
Yeah.
But no, it was a fantastic match. Spots where Dunne fought off the Helter Skelter and did hit the X-Pacs on the ramp. Remember that? And
yes.
Barely hit the count after that. Really.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Zach Gibson was in the ring and it was like 9, and then just before 10, Pete Dunne hopped in the ring.
Yeah.
Why didn't Pete Dunne just stay out?
Because then we wouldn't have a good match to talk about.
I know.
You're talking from a logical point of view.
I know, and I'm just trying to find holes in a match that I couldn't really find holes in. So. But that's just one thing, like, the whole Peter Griffin thing. You know what really grinds my gears? You know what really irks me when it comes to like title matches in wrestling when they're singles matches is when they both do the whole let's make the final count in the count out thing. If you're champion, you don't need to do that because you keep the title anyway.
You're thinking you're in the
I know I'm thinking logically about this. I know.
That again, that's something that Zack Sabre Jr. would say. Oh, I'll get out of the way. Won't you dive on me?
Exactly. Exactly. And if Zack Sabre Jr. was UK champion right now and he was out in the ring and it was a 9 count, he'd stay out for the 10 because he'll keep the title.
There you go.
Because Zack Sabre Jr. is smart,
and that's why he's in Japan.
Exactly.
There you go. It was a fantastic match.
That's why he's New Japan Cup holder.
Yeah, absolutely. It ended when he had Shankly Gates and it looked like Dunne was actually going to tap at one stage, but he managed to keep in. Snaps the fingers when he taunted to number 1 at Dunne. Broke it. Catch him with a huge right forward, finished him off with the bitter end, and that was that. He looked very emotional towards the end as well. Because it was a big win for him. Because it was a bit.
It seems as though this is a move to. This was definitely the sort of turning Pete Dunne face.
He's always been a face, I think. For a while.
No, he was a heel.
For a while.
He was a heel.
Well, not really.
He was a heel.
Actually, I'm going to say go on the limb. He's actually been more a face than a heel since he's won the UK title. Because he's like Velveteen
in the last
Dream,
couple of weeks, I'd agree with you. He's been a face because he obviously teamed with Roddy against everyone.
More so because of that, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but before that, he was a heel. I think this was the full turn now.
If you like, yeah.
Because he had the heel against him.
He was like 20% face, and
yeah.
then he was like 50, 60, then 100% when Strong attacked him.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a very good 2 shows, as I mentioned. Again, the surprise title win for Mustache. Well, not much of a surprise for us, but that's a different story. Noam Dar was a surprise. We didn't see that coming.
I did. Once again, none of this was
You
a
can't
surprise.
avoid social media.
This is the thing. And that's why I took away from it a little bit. I still enjoyed the show,
Oh,
and it was a
class.
great show. But like, I would have preferred it to be like it was last year, where the show was live
Yeah,
and it was shown live.
but no.
But no,
Goes to show. It's definitely something, but it's definitely a nice start to this whole NXT UK thing now.
Yeah.
As for Dunn, like Dunn, I imagine now that's why I think it makes more sense for someone like Zach Gibson to win the title next, because Pete Dunne is so easily the jewel of that of the last 2 years with WWE UK.
Mm-hmm.
Either onto NXT or the main roster. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Only a matter of time.